Malaysia Green Building Council, also known as Malaysia GBC, is an organization that promotes green building programs, technologies, and design practices, aims to make Malaysia an eco-friendly and sustainability place on Earth. Malaysia GBC was founded in May 2009 by a group of passionate building consultants, academia, and representatives. Even since Malaysia's building has increased, the efficiency of resources used in each building was built with green in mind. Malaysia GBC is also supported and associated with most of the top industry institutions. In the year 2015, Malaysia GBC became an established member of the World Green Building Council and known to be the only organization in Malaysia to be supported by the World GBC. Malaysia GBC continues to be the platform that networks, promotes, educates, and most importantly, develops the sustainable, built into the land of Malaysia. With much more passionate industry professionals, we can make Malaysia a greener and better place on Earth.
Architect Halim, you may start now.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everybody. First of all, I'd like to welcome all the participants today. It seems like we have a very good take-up and we have about 200 over people to this webinar titled Case Study, Innovation, Rainwater Harvesting System for Ablution, Landscape and Toilet Usage in Mosque, al-Mutaqin, KL, in collaboration with University Technology Malaysia, UTM. So in this session, we will discuss the implementation of rainwater harvesting for this particular masjid in Wangsa, Melawati, Kuala Lumpur in year 2019. Working tirelessly by the Mosque Green Committee, chaired by Architect Hamka Abu Darda, and in collaboration with the University Technology Malaysia, they were successfully obtained a recognition from the Jabatan Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan as a green mosque. A mosque which working towards the reducing carbon footprint. This is the first existing mosque in Wilayah Persekutuan that the harvested rainwater is used for ablution purposes with the help of technology and research. This project has been realistic with the help of funding from Unit Strategi Penyelidikan dan Penyelarasan Dasar Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi. So for today, we have two established speakers, Ms. Rachel Koh and Architect Hamka. Let me give their background. Ms. Rachel Koh is one of the first to promote rainwater harvesting system in Malaysia. Her passion on green conservation began since a very young age when she realized the significance of environmental sustainability. Thus, actually, she chooses one of the most sacred elements of nature, which is water. Ms. Rachel also decided to venture straight into construction and green technology business after graduation. She comes from a family that specialized in building infrastructure, construction for few generations, therefore giving her opportunity to learn from the best and master the business. Ms. Rachel Koh is currently the director of Aurora M. Berhad, a green tech company that offers the best and the latest rainwater harvesting, stormwater management, and water filtration system for various buildings and projects. So Ms. Rachel is also a member of Malaysia Green Building Council and has been actively promoting, educating the local council, general public, and conscious consumer on the importance of rainwater harvesting. Our second established speaker today is Architect Hamka. So Architect Hamka is currently the Managing Director of Laras Architect. Sedang Berhad, an architecture firm based in Kuala Lumpur. His achievement and contribution to green and sustainable architecture include this particular masjid, Masjid al-Mutaqin, Mosque Melawati, Kuala Lumpur, back in 2009, which leads this masjid to be recognized by JAWI, Jabatan Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan. And the first mosque Wilayah Persekutuan to implement this system through research and funding also act as the pioneer for Green Mosque project. I believe today's session is being heard by participant even from the masjid committee, and maybe we can benefit from this, from his sharing about Green Mosque and the strategic planning towards sustainable good development. And without further ado, I will hand over to our first speaker, Ms. Rachel Kaur. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year from the Islamic calendar. This is a second day, but it's not too late to wish everyone. I'm Rachel from Oralite Rainwater Harvesting System. Our today's topic is talk about the case study, the innovation of the mosque. First, I would like to introduce my company first. Oralite has been in the market for more than 12 years. So it's established since 2009, and we are in the rainwater harvesting system, stormwater management, water filtration, IT smart city solution, and recently we went into PPE business as well. So we are one-stop solution. We give design, we supply, and we install for the client. We have our own team, and we tailor-made to meet clients' restriction and constraints, especially the budget constraints, the site constraints. Then we also completed over more than 100 projects. Actually, we are 300 projects. Range of product from the leading and established company. Our product is from Graf, Germany, Rain Harvesting from Australia, Hansen from New Zealand, and Bertrami from Australia as well. So our products are all very good quality product. And Oralite is a member of Malaysia Green Building Council. We register with CIDD, MOF, SPAN. We are licensed plumber to do the rainwater system. And we also registered to AIS Selangor. And we also a member for Pertubuhan Sistem Penuaian Air Hujan. That means the Rainwater Harvesting Association in Malaysia. And this is our project reference. We have done more than 300 projects. So this is all our client. One of the mosques that we have done is the al-Mutaqin in Wangsa, Melawati. And we have big developers like SP Setia, IJM Land, and also we have Sam Dhabi, UA Group as well. And we also did for MRT and school as well. And this is our photo we have done for Velodrome. You can see Legoland. We have done for New Central. And we also done for SP Setia project, the SP Setia, the convention center. There's a various projects that we have done. But one of the project that I would like to share with you today is the Mosque al-Mutaqin. This is the reason because I have been talking about rainwater for long, but every time it's talk about technical knowledge. But now I want to have a breakthrough. We have a breakthrough of the rainwater harvesting system that the rainwater system can use for the mosque for ablution instead of just landscape, general washing, and car wash. So now I would like to pass the slide to Architect Hamka to talk about this because this is a project we work together with Architect Hamka for the mosque. So before we go into, we would like to have an introduction of the rainwater harvesting system. We have produced this one with Oralite Fund to educate the public and the children what is rainwater harvest system with this short video.
Whee! I'm Aura. Let me introduce the rainwater harvesting system to you. The dark clouds are huddling together. That's my cue. Let's go! The rainwater harvesting system collects the rainwater for car wash, clothes washing, and cleaning toilets. It is even clean enough to water plants in a garden. Firstly, the fallen raindrops are collected through rainwater downpipe. Next, the leaf filter in a system removes debris in the rainwater, such as leaves and branches. They are dissolved contaminants in the rainwater. Thus, in the third step, the first flush of contaminated rainwater is diverted into chamber and will be discarded via dripping method. Once the chamber is full, clean rainwater flows to the custom-made rainwater tank. Lastly, the clean harvested rainwater can be recycled and reused. Let's go green with Aura and bring rainwater back to your home.
Sorry, Architect Hamka, you have to unmute your mic.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Right, good. Thank you very much once again. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Halim, for the good words. My name is Hamka. I'm an architect by profession, but I was a committee member of the Masjid al-Mutaqin Wangsa Malawati from 2012 to 2018 and became the chairman of the mosque for the tenure of 2018 to 2020. Let me see if I can move this. It seems I cannot. My slides cannot move. Right. Okay. We're back. My apology on that. A bit of technical issue. I will do a very quick info on the mosque. Masjid al-Mutaqin is located at the Wangsa Maju area, at the edge of Wilayah Persatuan, which is very close to Wangsa Malawati, Taman Melawati, which is in Selangor. There's about 4,000 households surrounding the mosque, with about 2,000 people frequent the mosque on a daily and a weekly basis. And this figure is before the pandemic, so now it's much less than that. And the mosque itself comprises of the main mosque, the main praying area, with support services, the toilets, the wudu area or the ablution areas, and also to be surrounded by one sekolah agama, the religious school, and some retails. and also quarters for the masjid staff. The mosque was constructed back in 2001 and start operation in 2002. It was built as like any other normal mosque, without very much much thought given to on the green building elements or any green building criteria. So it was a mosque built for the purpose of mainly for praying. And it has the full capacity of about 1,500 packs at one particular time. And at a certain time, it probably can spill over for about 2,000 people. Right? When we took over, or when we became the committee, so we thought we don't want the masjid to become just like any other masjid or like any other mosque. And because it has already built mosque, which like any other mosque, it does not give a thought of the requirement of a green building. And so we talked to Jawi, or the Department of Islamic Affairs under the Prime Minister Department, so that if we could make the mosque have some green building element, and they agreed. Because the mosque, just like in other mosques, carrying out normal activities, community assistance, the annual Korban program, the biggest program we had was what we call a street da'wah, is the program which we go around with youth around Wang Semelawati, Wang Semaju, introducing the mosque, especially about the green building, the green mosque, as well as some other activities. And we are also the pioneers of mosque in Wilayah Persekutuan to have a go-kart challenge with the youth, in the hope that at the same time we can make this mosque as a community mosque. Right. From those normal activities, we thought would be good if we can start thinking about turning the mosque as a green mosque. This is also the challenge given to us by Jawi in making the mosque as a green mosque. So back in 2014, the committee at that time was led by another chairman, and we start working towards the greening of the mosque. So the idea came about, especially you can see the screen. I must give credit to one guy, that particular young man in the kopiah, the white kopiah, Ustaz Yahya Mahyuddin and Tuan Haji Mokhtar, who triggered the idea so that the mosque can become not like any other mosque. And so we start looking into green initiatives. So originally we started with a very big idea in a small scale. The very first thing we started was we turned the mosque as a community center, as a recycling center for the community. We collected recyclable items. We collected used cooking oil, so that we can turn that into candles, so that become a program, become a project at the mosque, so that the community can become part of the green effort at the mosque. And slowly we also turning the mosque into some of the item into green building elements. We start changing the normal lighting to LED lighting. You can see the lights change dramatically. And we have changed, replaced all the compound lighting from normal lighting, from electricity supply lighting to solar powered lighting. But two biggest initiatives that we undertook, what we wanted to undertake was the rainwater harvesting and the eco-friendly disposing of Al-Quran. These are the two major programs that we wanted to do. And at this stage, 2019, we managed to work for the rainwater harvesting system, or what we call it SPA, Sistem Penuaian Air Hujan, UV. And the other project with yet to be implemented is the eco-friendly disposing of Al-Quran. So this is probably another talk, perhaps for MGBC next year. That's another interesting project that we would like to do. And this program, this project, which we carried out with in collaboration with UTM, and I must say that I'm heavily indebted to Professor Dr. Azna Nur Anwar, the Deputy Director at the Jabatan Vice Chancellor UTM, for her assistance with her team in working for the rainwater harvesting system at the mosque. And because of that, we became the finalists, one of the two finalists for the Prime Minister's Medal for Innovation in 2019. And we were also awarded by Jawi penarafan 5 bintang on the 5-star grading by Jawi. And we are the only 5 mosques in Wilayah Persekutuan out of 83 mosques which receive the 5-star grading. Right, going back to the actual works on the rainwater harvesting, what we did at the mosque, we gave a deep thought on what we wanted to do with the mosque. So originally we want to create the masjid or the mosque as a center, as the green center for the green community center. Like I mentioned earlier, we started with the Become Recycling Center, and eventually we grow into something big or something bigger. At the same time, we like to reduce the dependency of on the natural resources, especially water and electricity, because these are the two main elements in the mosque which cost us a lot more than anything else. The electricity bill at the mosque between 7,000 to 10,000 ringgit a month, and the water bill is between 500 to 1,000 a month. So for a mosque which does not receive any support from for running of the mosque from the government, so this is a lot of money. So hopefully by doing this, we should be able to reduce the dependency on the resources, on the natural resources. At the same time, we like to reduce the running cost of the mosque. As I said earlier, the two main elements or two main costs to run the mosque are on the water and also on the electricity bill. At the same time, even though we are small, hopefully we can assist in the reduction of the carbon footprint, even though in a very, very small scale. Because at the same time, we should be able to create awareness in the community on the green mosque. When we thought about this, when we had a lot of discussion with UTM and a number of people, the most important thing is on the adaptation of the mosque, because the mosque was designed without any thought in installing of the rainwater harvesting system. It was just like any other mosque. So how do we adapt to that? So we work with UTM, with their young and innovative team. You can notice that in that photograph there. Those are the young people who are very keen working with us, assisting us in designing the rainwater harvesting system. Plus, they are also working on the sensing of the rainwater harvesting system, even though it didn't really quite work well yet. But those are the things that we were working on. So it's very important for us to be able to work on this, that the system must be able to be adapted in that existing building. Because out of 83 mosques that we know in Wilayah Persekutuan, only very few which has a rainwater harvest system designed for in the mosque. And so what we like to do, if you can adapt this system in our mosque, other mosques should be able to adapt as well. Apart from Masjid al-Mutaqin, there's one more mosque which also given the category as green mosque, which is Masjid Saidina Abu Bakar in Bangsa. They are also very keen on learning from us, and they're also probably using the same system like we are doing in their mosque in Bangsa. The second one that we must consider was that the relevance of the system. As I said, we must reduce our dependency on the treated water from Shabas. In the mosque, we use a lot of water, especially for cleaning and for wudu and for toilet. It's a bit rather unfortunate as well, if I may say. This mosque become like a R&R from people from the MRR2. They drop by to use the toilets. So the usage of water is also quite high. So the reduce of the dependency of the treated water is very important to us as well. And at the same time, we must strengthen the mosque role as a community center. We must tell the people, look, we have to work towards the green mosque, and the mosque become the community center because majority of the people surround this area are Muslim. So we have to make them aware. So the mosque has become a role to this community center. At the same time, hopefully we should be able to work in tandem with the government policy, the National Integrated Water Resources Management Plan, Strategy and Roadmap. Even though it's a small scale, but hopefully it can give an impact to this policy. Apart from that, we must consider as well whether our system, what we like to do, what we did, is able to be replicated somewhere else. Because we want to become example to other mosques. So the system must be able to be replicated. It has to be able to be duplicated somewhere else. And the system that we are using, the system that we work on, first, we believe it can be replicated quite easily because it's low in cost. It's quite cheap, quite cheap. The real cost to this is less than 10,000 to produce the whole system. And at the same time, Alhamdulillah, when we work with UTM, the whole cost was borne not by the mosque, by our strategic partners. In this particular case is UTM. So other mosques as well should be able to follow suit. And at the same time, we can become a good example to other mosques who does not have this system, so that they can replicate in their mosque. The other thing is the system must be simple and practical, because the mosque, we don't really have a full-time staffing. So it has to be simple to be operated. It has to be very practical to be used, and it has to be very low in maintenance costs. We can't afford to hire outsiders to carry out the maintenance. To carry out the maintenance. So we have one of our SIA. SIA is the people who work at the mosque to do the cleaning up, to do the servicing. So which requires less than an hour in every 2 weeks to do the flushing and so on. And these people do not require special skill to do the maintenance, to carry out the work. And the most important thing is the technology and the components are really available locally. You can go to most of the parts, you can go to any hardware with the exception of ratio filters. You have to get from Auralite, I suppose. Other components, you can go to any workshop, any hardware, you can do it on your own. And that's we did. That's what we did. I was able to do it on my own to carry out the maintenance. Last but not least, the system has to be very efficient and time saving. The installation period for this particular system was done in less than 14 days. And at the same time, the water treatment was very simple and fast. Upon installation, we waited for the rain. It rained the next day, and the next day we were able to get the treated water. Yeah. And as I said earlier as well, the maintenance period was also very short. Less than 1 hour, climb up the roof, and we were able to do the maintenance. Right. Very quickly, I'm not really an expert on this, but Rachel is. But I'm going to share you what we have done at the mosque, what sort of system that we are using at the mosque. It's a very simple system. When we work with Rachel, so I said, look, we must have something which very simple. We cannot have, we try to do away with pumps, but in this particular case, we were unable to do that. And we decided, even though originally we wanted to put a tank on the ground level, but due to the pumping system and so on, we decided to have the tanks on the first layer of the roof, and we collect the water from the top layer of the mosque roof. Right. So the system comprised of from the gutter, it goes into the tank with the filters and so on. So it goes into a main tank or rainwater tank, and after that it goes to 2 layers of filters before it goes to 20,000 liters of main tank. We have 2 main tanks. One is about 20,000 liters, which is on the right hand side, which is mainly for the wudu, and on the left hand side, that is for the main wudu. And on the left hand side, you notice that there is about 12,000 liters of another tank that is for the ladies' wudu. This is the rainwater filter, the first filtering system which comes from the roof. This is, if you can notice that, on top of the photograph, that is the second layer of the roof of the mosque. So that we collect the water from the top layer of the roof, and it goes to one filtering cost filter. This will get rid of the main debris, the leaf, or any pebbles and so on. And before it goes to our rainwater collection tank, we have about 3,000 liter tank. And so this is basically a raw water, raw water from the roof. And as I said earlier as well, we try to not to have pumps, because to us, to maintain pumps, this can be quite troublesome and can be quite expensive. But a bit unfortunate, we still have to have one centrifugal farm, which pump the raw water, the rainwater, raw water, and this will pump into the main tank through 2 series of filtering system. The first system, the first filter, is the sand plus cover filter. And after we filter this, the water can be, in fact, it being transferred to the first usage, which is mainly for landscaping work and for cleaning purposes, general cleaning purposes. We have 2 main pipes which are on sides of the mosque, mainly for cleaning and landscaping work. But since the pipe is actually on the outside wall, people actually using it for wudu as well. Even though we said this is not for wudu, this is mainly for landscape, and they said, hey, no, still it is as clean as water pipe. And we have the joke at the mosque that we have 85 years old Jama'ah who frequent the mosque every day, and he likes to use this particular tap to take his wudu. And he said, look, Haji Amka, I'm still alive, even though I'm 85 years old, I'm using this tap for my wudu. So this is the first layer of the filtered water. And after that, you go to the second layer of the UV filter. And this also supplied by Aura Light. Want to know the details, you can ask Rachel again after this. And this should kill the bacteria in the water system. And before it goes to our main tank, 20,000 liters of tank, and go directly into the tap. We have 32 numbers of wudu taps for the males, and we have another about 20 for the females. At the same time, we have a small pond also for wudu. This is in fact 100% rainwater, treated rainwater. All the water from the tank goes in here after it's been treated the second time. So in fact, apart from the 20,000 liters, we also have this, I'm not quite sure the quantity, but that particular pond is about 6 feet deep. And if you go inside, you go, the pond will be higher than you. So majority of people are actually using this water rather than from the tap, right? So this filtered water used for wudu, and UTM did testing on this. In fact, the water, the treated water, after it goes to the second filtering system, it should be able to, it's good enough, in fact, even for drinking. So it is as good as Shabas water, right? Our main target for doing the system was, apart from the green building element and so on, we were hoping that we'll be able to reduce our monthly water bill. I mentioned just now that our water bill range between 500 to 1,000 depending on the month. If we use a lot more water during the fasting month, and then our water bill can go as high as almost 1,000 ringgit a month during the fasting month, because there are more people frequent the mosque during the fasting month than any other time. But generally what we like to do, if we can save our water bill by about 40% a month, we're quite happy. And we managed only to get about the 20 to 30% saving. But in long run, we hope we should be able to get about 40%, and hopefully we should be able to get up to 50% saving per month. In conclusion, with the system that we have at the mosque, we really hope that it can give a good high impact to the community and environment, especially to us as a community. Because if we can give a good impact to the community, indirectly, it will give good impact to the mosque and to the environment. At the same time, it will become a cost saving on water bill to the mosque. And during the water crisis in Wangsa Maju, we had twice in 2019, 2018, that there was no more water for 3 days. In Wangsa Maju or Wangsa Melawati area. People flocking to the mosque for washing and wudu and so on. We were able to sustain for 3.5 days without any water from Shabas. And all this actually water from the rain. So that is a bonus that we did not know, we did not calculate. But at the same time, we were able to assist the community at that particular time during the crisis when there was no water in Wangsa Melawati. And last but not least, we will hope that we'll be able to create awareness to the community on the filtered rainwater, and hopefully the people in Wangsa Melawati also be able to do filtered rainwater in their homes. And at the same time, we gain something, because if we can do saving, inshallah, the mosque will also benefit from it. Well, thank you very much for listening, and we should be able to take questions if any. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pass to Ali.
Yes, thank you very much, Kita Hamka, for a very comprehensive and detailed explanation on the system of rainwater harvesting being applied to the masjid. And maybe I did not mention earlier that all participants are welcome to post your questions and at the box, so that I can forward to the speakers. But however, after listening to this, talk, maybe you have some question for clarification on the explanation that Rachel might or Kita Amka can take it up for more details. So I think I start. Okay, the first question here is about building rating tools, GBI. I think the person who asked is interested in the how to rate a mosque in terms of GBI, and how do you, after applying it, there's other initiative also in other green approach that you're taking. So what's your comment on GBI and the green mosque and what you apply? So
okay, on the GBI, the name green mosque is not like, please do not misunderstood on the term green mosque. We are not going into the green building index, what do you call this, recognition. The green mosque is a term given by Jawi. It's more to create awareness on the green. That's why I said earlier, what we have done is we put in green building elements, not the green building per se. We hope, we really hope, even though if we could, that we can get the mosque to be certified if we want to use even GBIF, Nation Green Building Federation tools if you want to. But I don't think we can afford it, to be honest. So it's a green building elements that we are punching into the mosque to give awareness to the people. So we are not using any particular GBI tool for this. Thank you.
Okay. Second question is about safety. So I saw this filtration system. There's also antibacterial things that the water has to pass through, And how do you make sure that the harvested water stay safe for usage? Maybe Rachel can take this.
Actually, our rainwater harvesting system, we use the leaf filter first to filter the big items. Then we will use a first flush system to filter the sands and small items they cannot see from the eyes and the bird drops water. After that, we will have the sand filters. So this sand filter is very important because they actually is all to filter all the small particles. And later we'll go for the UV. Then the UV filter will kill the bacteria and also will kill the virus. So from there, we collected the filter water every day and we do the test, and it's safe for use. So if let's say it's not safe, then we will do the treatment, we will check it, and we will do the service and to make sure that the water is safe for usage. And another thing I want to highlight, actually the cost of the mosque, just now Architect Hamka said that it's cheap because of Oralight also sponsor half of the cost. That is why the cost is cheap for this project. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Oralight, for sponsoring this rainwater harvesting system for the mosque. I think people make full use of it, not just the mosque. People go to the mosque, but like Hamka said, when there's a water shortage, so other people in the community can make use of it as well. So I would like to go to the next question about the maintenance of this thing, maintenance of this harvesting system. So how often do you have to clean the UV filter, or how to, or the filter system? What are the regular maintenance system that we have to apply?
Okay, practically the mosque would do every monthly flushing of the first system, for the first filtering system. Someone will need to go up the roof and do the reverse filtering system. And for the UV, I was made to understand by Oralight that we only need to do that once a year. Is that right, Rachel?
Yes.
Okay. And just to add on as well, on the on the safety of the water, this is good thing that we are in collaboration with UTM. And UTM, in fact, do regular testing of the water. They come to the mosque. They carry out testing in their own lab, and will be ensured by UTM that the water is safe. And they are also working on the remote sensing for this as well. So that goes in tandem as well with the question of maintenance. Thank you.
Okay, good. So you can be rest assured that this water is safe to be used, because for us Muslim, actually we go for ablution every time before we go pray, minimum 5 times a day. So we have this water, we put it, wash our face, sometimes we goggle with the water, we cleanse our nose, and of course with these COVID things around, so we want to cleanse, as much as possible, but at the same time you want the source of the water to be clean, and this is a good thing that being tested, and all this filtration system, UV and all that, being used for this mosque. So now the next question is about safety again. It seems like other than this filter, this chlorine treatment as oxidation for normal water to use it for to stop bacteria growth in the storage in the rainwater. What are the risks have on the say now face, and maybe they wash their eyes, and rinse their mouth and so on. Do you like to comment on that, Rachel?
Actually, when we store the rainwater, then before we extract it to use it, right, we have go through the sand filter, and also we go through the UV filters. So UV filter is very important to kill all the bacteria grow in the storage of the rainwater tank. And normally the rainwater tank, we do not allow to store more than 3 days. We use it every day. So the storage inside the rainwater tank is not stagnant water. So the water is like keep on going and use and use. So it with the rainwater filter, like sand filter and also the UV filter, it helps to kill the bacteria and virus inside for the usage. Thank you.
Okay, Hamka, you'd like to elaborate on that?
To be honest with you, we don't really have that problem because as I said earlier, we're working with UTM, and this monitoring system on the water quality is done by UTM. And so far, after about 2 years, we don't really have that problem.
Yeah, because we are not drinking the water.
Yeah, I understand that actually if you...
But with the UV filter, it helps a lot. Actually, it kills all the bacteria and virus. So the UV filter works.
So yeah, I think for us architect, if we look at the old mosque, you know, they do collect water for ablution purposes. You know, all the roof is being a channel to a place for people to take ablution before they pray. I mean, even at the old kampung house, you know, they collect rainwater to wash their feet before they go up. So this harvesting system has been practiced, you know, from the beginning. And with this aura light system, is all this filtration, UV and what's not, is make it safer to use the water.
Actually, I saw one question. They asked about the what's the cost, you know, how much is that? Can we replicate the system? What's the ROI? Actually, all these questions and answers are inside in our slide. We can share this to you all, the slide later. You can have a look how much is the cost and also how long is the ROI. Actually, it saves a lot of water, just like Architect Hamka said.
Okay, so we understand that this harvesting system reduce the freshwater demand as rainwater is utilized and alternative water as an alternative water sources. However, this system consists of also electronic pumps to drive the water, and can it be separate? I mean, if it's downfeed, you know, totally downfeed and so on.
You can't do that because the reason you need to go through the filter. So in order to go through the filter, you need the pump to pump through to push the water go through the filter. Then only it works. That is why for this system you need a pump. You cannot just like the normal system. You can go for irrigation. You can go for gravity flow. Then that should not be a problem because irrigation doesn't need pump sometimes. General cleaning, but when for this case, because we need to go through the sand filters and the UV filters, so we need a pump for that, for this system. Thank you. I think there's some more questions. Maybe I can bring out.
Go ahead. Yes.
Where did the filter come from? Did not catch that just now. Was it from Oralite? Yes. The filter is from Oralite. We supply all the system to the mosque. Okay. Does the water for ablution need certification by JAKIM or any other Islamic authorization agency? Architect Hamka, can you answer this?
Sorry, what was the question again?
Does the water for ablution need certification by JAKIM or any other Islamic authorization agency?
Not that we know of, because cleaning stuff is very simple. There are 7 types of water that is called as al-Mutaqin, which is clean enough for wudu, and one of them is clearly mentioned air hujan or the rainwater. So if the rainwater is clean enough, we don't really require that from any particular agencies, either Jawi or Jakim, as long as it meets the health requirement.
Okay, thank you. There's one more question. They will ask, how long does each filter last before needing service? We have few filters. The first filter is a leaf filters, is self-cleaning, so you don't need to service much. The second one is a first flush diverter. So every month you need to clean off it. Just use a manual, your workers to do it, and you don't have any replacement part for it. The third one will be the sand filter. Sand filter, yes. Based on the usage of the mosque, I think 5 years they need to change every 5 years they need to change the sand filter. For the UV filter, every year they need to change the UV filter. So it's not much maintenance cost for it.
So with all these filters in use, is there any chance that you can maybe upgrade it up to drinking water or something?
In order to become a drinking water, it's a class 1 water. That is very difficult. Class 1 water, you need to chlorinate it and you need to do the test every hour. So the cost of doing that is very expensive, which is not viable, because I think you buy water from Ais Selangor is cheaper than we treat our own rainwater. Yeah, so not viable to do that, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we talk about sustainability, we need to talk about cost as well. So I think better we buy from Ais Selangor, it's cheaper. Our water tariff is one of the cheapest in Southeast Asia. So I think we buy from Ais Selangor is better. At least it's safe and cheap. And some more in Selangor, I think first 20 meter cube is free. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's a lot of good side of using this rainwater harvesting. And I'd like to, ask if dealing with these authorities, whether the Jabatan Agama Islam, even a local authority and so on. So maybe Amka can, suggest how could this local authority play a greater role, in promoting the use of rainwater harvesting, for, place of worship.
If you notice that basically all authorities, local authorities, like in our case, DBKL, they support the rainwater harvesting system. In fact, when you design new building, it's become a mandatory requirement for us to install rainwater harvesting. I suppose in this particular case, the real challenge is not getting the approval from the local authority, because I'm quite certain they are very supportive of this initiative. But we noticed that the most difficult is on how to adapt the system into the existing building. There's a question just now whether we can use pumps or not. As I said earlier, we try not to use pumps because the pump maintenance is more expensive and so on, and which requires regular maintenance. So what we like to do, or like to work with the local authorities, like in our case DBKL or Shabas, is to assist us in how to make this water even safer and easier. If we can work with probably the two local authorities which relate to this, one is DBKL in our case, and the other one is Shabas. If we can work with Shabas, allowing us to harvest the rainwater into the mosque, if they can assist us in making sure that the water is safe. In our case, we are quite lucky we have UTM. Other mosques may not be so lucky because they don't have that collaboration with the universities. In our case, UiTM has that facilities. So if the local authorities like Shabas or perhaps even Nahrim, the National Hydraulic Centers in Serdang can work with potential users or potential mosques who want to use to harvest the water. The critical part is to make sure that the water is safe. There's a question just now on how safe is the water. So if the local authority can assist on this, that would be very great. That will be good. I don't see much problem with local authorities not approving the to install rainwater harvest system in not just in mosque or like any other building. Right. Thank you.
There's something I would like to say that actually the rainwater quality in Malaysia is very good. It's class 2B. We are lucky that our rainwater quality is so good that we just need the minimum maintenance, minimum treatment, then we can use it already. Unlike other countries, they use their rainwater is like, they are very acidic. That we are lucky because we got rains like 1 week, we at least had 3-4 days. That is why even though your tank, right, sometimes your tank like you think that you'll be stored for 3 or 4 days. No, 2 days already, then your tank will be empty because we've been using for the mosque, and a lot of people are using, the community are using the water as well. So that's why the tank is always like fill up, empty. I mean, they will next rainfall come in, they will fill up the rainwater tank as well. There have a lot of questions. They mentioned about, can we do for double story house? Yes, of course. You can do high rise, you can do everything, even the MRT also you can do, as long as it's a building. You have roof, then you can do.
I'd like to answer this question about which I did not mention. What if there is no rain for a longer period of time? Even though we have the rainwater harvesting system installed at the mosque, we did not we don't remove the Shabas system. It's still there. In fact, it's still connected to our main tank. So if there is not enough water in the tank, what you need to do, you supply the tank with the Shabas water. That's what happened when there was a water crisis. At the end of the 3rd day, all the water gone, but the rain is not there yet. So we had no choice. We had to call up Shabas on the 3rd day so that they pump in the water into the tank so that the mosque can operate like normal. Right. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to mention here that this session is being recorded, and we shall upload it in the virtual platform, iGEM. And if you miss some of these question early on, I think we pretty much cover all sides of this rainwater harvesting system and the practicality of it. And I think I'm sure you might have further question, but our time is very limited. So you can post it. I hope you can also fill up the form, feedback form, which we will email to you. And if you have question, you can put it there, and maybe Aurora Light or Akita Amka can spend time to answer all this. They have a lot of interest, it seems like. And before I end, I'd like to go around the table. Maybe Rachel would like to give any takeaway or last word.
I would like to say thank you to Mosque al-Mutaqin, Architect Hamka, that giving us a chance to work together to do the mosque. It's our honor to do together to benefit the community in Wangsa Maju. And thank you for iGEM and MGBC for giving us a chance to talk about this, to share our experience. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, kita Amka.
Thank you very much as well for giving us the opportunity to share what we like to do, and hopefully this become the ice breaking for our next project. As I said, we are looking for strategic partners to work on the next project, which is the Al-Quran, how to dispose of Al-Quran ecologically, and hopefully somebody in this particular group can hear us so that we can work together for our next project at the mosque. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you to IGAM. I thank you to all the parties who invited us to share our experience. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Salam. Thank you very much to both speakers, and thank you also to all the participants. And before we end today's webinar, we like to promote other upcoming events by Malaysia GBC in the month of August. Tomorrow, 12th of August, from 2 to 3 p.m., we're going to have a pocket talk titled Optimizing Palm Selection for Sustainable Holistic Co-efficient Green Building. So there's a question about palm. Maybe tomorrow is of your interest to follow on this talk. So on the 18th of August, 4 o'clock, also pocket talk on innovation, engineering technology towards a clean and sustainable environment. 24th August, 4:30 p.m. to 5:30, a sustainable construction material in modern urban development. 25th August, this long pocket talk from 2 to 6 p.m. transforming waste in construction and demolition. So if there's a waste, how you transform it. And on the 28th of August, from 9 a.m., we have Academic Research Collaboration Reactor Program, ARC Reactor 2021. So with that, I'd like to thank you again, the speakers, participants, and MGBC for attending this webinar. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you.